what you need. 'Cause I see. I'll never be. Can't keep dodging the issue. When you say you need me, just make it simple, baby. 'Cause talk is cheap. This is not how it was supposed to be. I love you. Place no one above you. Why you treat me so cold? Why'd you treat me so cold? I'll let it burn. One day you'll learn. Why'd you treat me so cold? Why did you? We can crisscross and shadow box, play house like beginners, baby. The classic case. You like the chase, then pour out your heart when we're face to face. Then you melt my heart and change my mind. Your eyes so innocent, your mind so lost.
Hi, I'm Jae Franklin. I'm a professional vocalist, producer, and educator here today with the Collective School of Music. Founded in 1977, the Collective School of Music has been providing top quality education to musicians of all backgrounds for the past 44 years. Thank you so much for tuning into my workshop. So today we are going to give you all of the information that you need to know, all of the different vocal techniques that you need to practice and implement into your vocal routine in order to become the best singer you can possibly be. We're going to take your vocal technique to the next level and improve the sound of your voice. So let's get started. So we're going to teach you to become a better singer. Now, what does that mean? That means that we're going to talk about proper vocal technique, which is extremely important, especially if, let's say, you're preparing for an audition, you're a consistent performer, or, you just want to get better at singing. Maybe it's a hobby of yours or something to that effect. Or if you're getting ready to record, in a vocal session with a producer, whatever your situation is, it is always important to know great vocal technique. So we want you to have the best information. And we want you to accomplish your goals as a singer. So the first topic that we're going to be discussing today is breathing. Of course, we breathe every day, but there are 4 different breathing techniques or breathing types that singers can use in order to reach their singing goals. So you see what I did there? That's the first breathing type. The first breathing type is what I would call high breathing. Go ahead and take a deep breath for me. Yeah, we usually do that when we're, finishing up some type of endurance or some type of, cardiovascular activity. We also do that just when we're talking regularly. It's a type of breathing that we use on a regular basis. This is used a lot in life with singers as well. I really don't recommend this type of breathing, however, because what happens when you're breathing in through your mouth, essentially, all of that air gets into your larynx, it gets into your throat. There's so many things in the air and the atmosphere that can affect your throat and your breathing. So when you breathe in like this, it's harder to expel the air in a more controlled way. So you don't have a lot of control. The larynx has a lot to deal with all of that excessive airflow. However, you can use this type of breathing, let's say in a song where you have just a small amount of time to take in some air between phrases or between words. Although I don't recommend this type of breathing regularly, it is used by a lot of singers just in certain circumstances or in certain situations. So it's not a bad way of breathing. It's just not the most recommended style of breathing or recommended type of breathing. Okay. So we'll call that high breath. Now, the next type of breathing is number 2. It's abdominal breaths or stomach breathing. And I'm sure that, if you're a singer, you've heard of this type of breathing before. A lot of people say, breathe in through your diaphragm or put it in your belly, put it in your stomach. Well, that's exactly what this breathing type is. What you want to do is fill up your belly or your stomach area with air like a balloon because you're expanding it, you're filling it with air, and you're inflating it, basically. And then you're going to slowly release the air like you are deflating a balloon. So let's try this. Put your hands on your stomach, on your belly, and breathe in through your nose. And then you want to slowly release the air. So one of the ways that you can practice this is with an exercise I call the hiss exercise. And I call it the hiss exercise because when you release the air, you release it on a hiss. So you can breathe in for a count of 4 through your nose, expand the air in your stomach area. And then when you release the air, you release it for 8 seconds on a So this is a great exercise that you can practice when you are chilling, when you're, going to work, when you are before you go to sleep at night, or when you're preparing for, a singing session or an audition or something like that. Or you can do it on a daily basis. I recommend doing it on a daily basis because it can really help you to build up that support that you would need to support the notes that you're singing. So that is called abdominal breathing, and we're going to try it right now. So breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And hiss out for a count of 8. Perfect. So continue to practice that exercise, the hiss exercise, with that abdominal breathing. And as you get more and more advanced, you can hiss out for 10 seconds and 12 seconds and 14 seconds, multiples of 2, as you see. So it's really important to get familiar with that type of breathing. That is actually the suggested type of breathing that I would recommend to any singer. Across the board, lots of vocal coaches and teachers and educators recommend that style of breathing because it helps you control the flow of air that's leaving your body in a more controlled manner. So you're not uncomfortable. Everything is supported, and you can sing the way that you hear it in your head. Sing the way that you want to sing. Okay, so don't forget that's abdominal breathing or called stomach breathing. So the next breathing type is called intercostal or rib breath. And intercostal, if you're not familiar with that term, the intercostal muscles are the muscles between the ribs. So it's another actually very beneficial way of breathing. So put your hands on your rib cage, and then you're going to inhale. And it'll be a very kind of subtle inhale. You won't feel it as much as the belly breathing, but you will feel it. And you'll feel an expansion. And when you inhale, it expands. And when you exhale, it goes down. So let's try that. So put your hands on your rib cage and inhale and exhale. And it's a very, very subtle expansion. But you will feel it, and it gives you a lot of control from the lower body where you're singing. Now, the last breathing type is actually called a back breath. And you put your hands on your lower back, and you go ahead and inhale, and then you exhale. Now, this is one of the most subtle movements that you are actually going to feel. But this is actually another form of support. It's a supportive breathing type. So if you are looking for another way to get that support for your breathing when you're singing, this is an extremely good way of breathing. Okay. So all of these are actually safe ways of breathing, but there are two that I recommend the most. So the two that I recommend, and you can actually use them together, would be the abdominal breathing or the belly breathing, and then the intercostal, which is the rib breathing. So if you use these two together, they are extremely effective and will give you that support that you need. A lot of times, a lot of people that I work with, a lot of my students, they're fatigued when they come to me, in the beginning of their lessons. They're very fatigued because they may be breathing through their, that high breathing through a whole song. And they have trouble by the end of the song finishing phrases, getting up the notes that, they could normally reach. But by the end of a 3 or 4 minute song, sometimes it does take a toll on you if you're not supporting the notes and the phrases the way you need to. So practice, practice, practice. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out or releasing the notes, releasing the vocal phrase or notes through your mouth. That is extremely important. Nose breathing and mouth breathing are two different styles of breathing that you can do. Like I said before, I recommend nose breathing because you have more of a controlled flow of air entering and exiting your body when you're singing. So for breathing, it's all about control. And once you practice the most effective ways of breathing for singers, you'll be in good shape over time. It's not something that, you can latch on to real quickly and expect to just get it automatically. Sometimes it does take time, to practice these types of breathing types and to actually get comfortable, breathing that way. So practice, practice, practice. It makes perfect, and it really will help you when you're supporting those huge, powerful notes, or even sometimes the more quiet little phrases and quiet notes, So continue to practice those breathing types that I recommended. And we cannot forget to talk about posture. Now, of course, when you're singing, you want to be comfortable, right? But you also don't want to look sluggish. And so one of the things that you can do when you're singing is to sit up straight if you're sitting down, or stand up straight, or put your back, up in line. Don't, slouch over, because a lot of the organs that you need to sing won't be supported as fully as if you were standing up straight. So you won't get very far if you in a song, if you're singing like this, kind of slouched over. Make sure that everything is supported, and make sure that you are standing up straight and that you have enough air to support you. Okay, support yourself. Now, the next topic is something that I hear a lot about from a lot of singers who want to expand their vocal range. So the next topic is about vocal range. Lots of times, singers do not work all of their vocal range. A lot of times, I know, especially with modern singing, we have a lot of these songs, right? Pop music, soul, R&B, especially pop. When, no shade to pop music, but a lot of times you hear a lot of these melodies that are there's no unless it's a big ballad or something, there's really no range, and so what ends up happening is a lot of singers start to sing those pop songs, and so they don't explore the full range of their voice. So it's really important to vocalize and sing using your top range and your lower range. You don't want to just get stuck singing in your mid range all the time, because your voice is capable of doing so much more, you know? So if you haven't used a lot of your range, believe it or not, you can switch between vocal registers when you are singing. Don't just get stuck singing in your falsetto or, chest voice. It's really important that you expand your range and learn how to use all the fullness of your voice. So now we're going to talk about working all of the registers of your voice. So a lot of times we may sing in just falsetto or in chest voice, when in actuality, you should be working all your registers, which is your chest voice, your head voice, falsetto, your mixed voice as well, and flageolet, all of them. Flageolet is a vocal register that doesn't get talked about a lot. But we're going to talk about them in just a minute. Many singers make a crucial mistake of, just working, if they're working on a song and they're trying to get these two notes, they'll just work on these two notes and then think that's it. Well, on the contrary, singers need to work on two notes and then some. You have to work the full range of your vocal register, of your range, because it's just like riding a bike, for example. Let's say you're learning how to ride a bike, right? And you're pedaling and you just keep going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. You'll never move anywhere. So if you just continue to get stuck focusing on just one simple part of your range, then that won't help you with the fullness of your range. It won't help you with the fullness of your voice. So what I would encourage you to do is work everything. Work the higher part of your range and the lower part of your range. And that means you need to get flexible, okay? I know I talked about flageolet, that vocal register, a second ago. So flageolet is the register, we call it the head voice above the head voice. Anyone can sing loud in chest voice. If you can talk, you basically sing in chest voice, right? But flageolet is a different part of your voice. It's that higher register, the head voice above the head voice. It's the highest possible note you can sing using the least amount of force, right? It's the equivalent of a Simone Biles acrobat, or Cirque du Soleil acrobats. They can do so much. They're so free-flowing. That's the type of freedom that you get when you reach that flageolet, because there's not a lot of air coming into your throat that will make things a little more airy and make things a little more heavy. When you're singing in flageolet, there's a certain amount of air that's restricted from coming into your vocal folds. And so what you do is you have more ability to go higher and you can become more flexible in that area. So there's not a lot of air that cuts through the vocals as there is actually in your regular falsetto. So if you wanted to hear an example of flageolet, there's a song by Mariah Carey called The Infinity Song. And around the 3:30 mark, she's in her head voice. She gets really, really high up there. So that song is available on all streaming platforms. You can definitely hear it and take a listen to it. Now, one thing I will emphasize is that flageolet is different from your whistle tone, okay? Whistle tone is like a whistle, okay? But flageolet is not that. Whistle tone is something that's extremely, extremely special that not a lot of people can do, but I'm sure it can be practiced and rehearsed and, you can get there. But flageolet is something that is actually achievable for most singers. You just have to know the techniques. Another example of you can hear flageolet is a song called For Real by Amel Larue. And we're going to listen to a little clip of that song right now. So building your flageolet will definitely give you that expansion of range that you are looking for. Now, doing this won't just benefit your flageolet register, it will also benefit other registers below it. And once you've worked all of your registers, it's time to blend them together. Okay, one of my favorite singers is Whitney Houston. Of course, everybody knows about Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston has the ability to blend a lot of her registers, and that makes her vocal performances so extremely dynamic. So that's what great singers do. You won't hear most people singing a full song in chest voice, right? What you will hear of great singers or elite level singers is their ability to switch between different registers. You may go from falsetto to flageolet, mixed voice to chest voice to falsetto. So the list could go on and on, actually. But rarely have I heard singers only use one register throughout a song. That's the secret. You've got to use the fullness of your voice. And once you've explored the fullness of your voice, you will be so much more enthusiastic about singing. Trust me, I promise you. You may want a breathy tone, and then you may want to switch to a powerful tone, and then you may want a lighter tone, maybe a non breathy tone. The point that I'm trying to stress here is that once you get in touch with knowing how to effectively sing, and all of the different registers that you do possess, don't think that it's because you hear, a powerful song that you can't do it. There's ways that you have to practice and learn how to reach those different notes and different tones within the registers that you have right now. So it's just all about practice, practice, practice. So I would just encourage you to make sure that when you are practicing your vocal exercises and warm ups, that you are practicing using different registers in your voice. And speaking of warm ups and vocal exercises, I just want to stress that it's really important for singers to vocalize on a daily basis. My recommendation would be 30 minutes to an hour of vocalization, whether it's warm up or vocal exercises. You don't have to be loud when you're practicing your vocal exercises and warm ups. You can practice on a hum. You can practice doing lip rolls also. You can practice without a lot of strain on your voice. But if you do want to take it another step further, you can practice on a vowel. You can practice on a E or ah. You can practice on whatever vowel you want. A lot of times people like to practice on the ah vowel because it's more open. The E vowel is a little more challenging for some people once you start to, practice throughout all of your range, your higher range and your lower range. So I would just encourage you to at least 15 minutes a day, start there if you don't have a lot of time. But I do want to recommend that you make time for it because vocal exercises and warm-ups can help you address some problem areas that you might not even know that you have when you're singing, especially if you want to move up and down your register. You can really identify some cracks and some little cobwebs, in your register that you might want to polish up, so definitely vocalize every day, at least 30 minutes up to an hour. So we moved on to topic 3, and this is all about singing technique, ad-libs and runs, or riffs, as some people call them. So an ad-lib is simply improvisation over a song, over background vocals, or over a piece of music in a song. When you're singing ad-libs, you want your ad-libs to be complementary to the beginning of the song. If it's nice and quiet, you won't be screaming your ad-libs, but at the end of a song, if there's a lot of power in the song, of course you want your ad-libs to be powerful, so ad-libs are nothing more than improvisation. And you'll hear a lot of ad-libs in different types of songs. You'll hear them in rock, pop, really heavy in R&B and soul music as well. So when I was younger, if you're just starting out with ad-libbing, when I was younger, I have a story for you. I used to plan my ad-libs, actually. I was just not as creative as I wanted to be at that, I'm talking about maybe 13, 14, maybe 10 to 14 years old. I would actually plan my ad-libs because I was like, when I get into the studio, I'm not going to know what to do. So I'm just going to plan these oohs and ahs and what am I going to do in the chorus, because ad-libs are all about, adding a little more emotion, a little more attitude. into the song. So I would plan my ad libs. My sister, on the other hand, she would be like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go. I got my ad libs together." But me, I would have to take a little more time and plan it, and that's perfectly fine. However, as you get more advanced in your ad libbing, you will be able to just feel where the ad lib should go. Speaking of that, you want your voice to stand out in an ad lib. So you want to find pockets in the song where there is space. You don't always want to be ad libbing over background vocals all the time. Sometimes you want to find those little pockets of space where your voice can really stand out. You might throw in a yeah or a nice hum or a ooh or a oh. Ad libs are actually much louder than the background vocals. They don't just blend in the background. So when you're thinking about adding ad libs, you want to make sure that they do stand out. And a lot of times you can sing the same words as the background vocals in a hook, or in a bridge section. But sometimes it's really effective to ad lib using words that you don't necessarily hear in the hook or in the verse or bridge of the song. Something very creative is really inspiring, and it'll really take the song to another level. So now we're going to get into some examples of ad libs, right? So I'm sure that by now you've heard some songs that have ad libs in them. However, I do want to point out a few that you can listen to. All of these songs that I'm about to mention are on streaming platforms everywhere. So take down some notes, get your little pen and paper together, or you can, type or whatever device you have. Make sure you're taking some notes so you can write down these songs. So I love Yolanda Adams, right? She is the first example of our ad lib section. Yolanda Adams has a voice like butter. If any song she sings, I'm listening to it because she is a vocal master. And I recommend that you listen to her song, Open My Heart. Listen to the whole song, but pay attention if you're studying ad libs, pay attention to the end of this song. She does not just repeat the same words that you hear throughout the song. She takes it upon herself and adds more passion. Her voice is she adds a lot of conviction with her voice. And she starts to it's like she's just thinking and she's just letting out all of her emotion. That's what ad-libbing really is. It's improvisation. You're coming up with all of these thoughts and you just put them out there, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to sound like it's coming from your heart. That's what improvisation is. It's just free flowing. And so you're being very creative. And so what I love that she does at the end of this song is she just lays it all out there. She sings lyrics that you don't normally hear throughout the rest of the song, which is extremely important when you are ad-libbing. So get into it. It's Yolanda Adams, Open My Heart. The next example is Jennifer Hudson, song called Spotlight. And Spotlight is one of her first singles as a solo artist. And her voice is so extremely flexible and powerful. Now, in this song in particular, it's a great study of ad-libbing because she doesn't really start to give us those ad libs until after the second verse. In that second chorus, what's different about this song from the Yolanda Adams song is that Jennifer Hudson is actually repeating the same words as the background vocals. So that's something that you will hear sometimes. You'll hear ad libs that have the same lyrics as the background vocals, which is perfectly fine. But what she does is she finds space in those pockets of where there's just music and no background vocals. She finds pockets of space where she'll put her voice, put her ad lib. So her voice really does stand out. Sometimes ad libs sound better in an instrumental space with no background vocals at all. So listen to Jennifer Hudson's Spotlight. Now, the next song is one of those songs that has an iconic middle to end. Okay, so this is Deborah Cox's Nobody's Supposed to Be Here. And so what is so significant about this song is that Deborah Cox is basically ad-libbing from the bridge of this song to the end of the song. And she's belting. She's giving it to us, right? The bridge is really sultry and really beautiful, and then she just goes off at the end. This is a great example if you're looking for ad libs that are super powerful and extremely effective. She puts her heart and soul into this groovy soul ballad, and her emotions really cut through as well. And so many people try to sing this song. This song actually inspired a social media challenge because of the amount of power and flexibility that she uses when she's singing her ad libs in this song. So check out Nobody's Supposed to Be Here by Deborah Cox. And just like the Deborah Cox song, the next song example is Nobody Love by Tori Kelly. And it's almost the same prescription for success with ad libs. So from the bridge on to the end of this song, Tori Kelly is giving us ad lib after ad lib after ad lib. There's a huge high note in the bridge, and she does a lot of riffing and running with that high note. And then she ad libs all the way to the end of the song. So if you're looking for a great study of ad libs, check out how her ad libs bring more joy to the song. And she actually ad libs and sings independently of and together with the hook. Okay, so I love her voice. It's beautiful. So check out Nobody Love by Tori Kelly. Okay, and with this example list wouldn't be complete without Shaka Khan, okay, who is like a master of ad-libbing in her own unique style. She has this ability to be jazzy and kind of throw in, soul and familiar sound all at the same time, and use the fullness of her range as well. So the song that I would love for you to listen to is called Ain't Nobody by Shaka Khan. And I love listening to this song because at the end, she starts to go off in her ad libs. She uses complete phrases, all up in the top part of her range, lower part of her range. She uses words that you don't hear throughout the rest of the song. And that just makes her ad libs that much more dynamic. Like I said, you'll hear distinct lyrics that are separate from anything you hear in the song. Her ad libs give us range as well. So when you're ad libbing, think about the range that you can use to express yourself and be creative. She uses syncopated rhythms, different melodies in her mid range, and then she will soar to some higher notes. So we're going to listen to an example of Shaka Khan singing Ain't Nobody. Now, the last example is Tevin Campbell's song called Can We Talk? Now, this is an iconic R&B song. This record, if you put it on, you immediately know what the song is, but this song has some amazing ad-libs in it. I think this is the only male vocalist that I'm featuring in this list. However, he has such a wide range. He has such a beautiful voice. In this song, I think this is one of his first singles. He uses ad libs in the end of the bridge, using simple words like yeah, phrases like yeah, yeah, baby, and then he goes into using words that you don't hear anywhere else in the song. So the point is that ad libs, yes, you can use the same words that are in the hook or in other parts of the song, but if you want to take it a step further on a more advanced level, if you will, you can use words and phrases that are nowhere in the song. But what you want to make sure that you do is to find those spaces, those instrumental spaces in the song where there's not background vocals. Put an ad lib there. It could be something simple like yeah or ooh. The point is to be creative. And the more that you practice ad libs, the better you will get. Plan your ad libs out like me. If you're, beginning with ad libs, then it will get easier and easier to be more creative and improv your ad libs throughout the song. So how exactly do you practice ad libs? So this is the moment right now where if you know how to ad lib, you may be like, okay, yeah, I don't need to listen to this. But you might get something from it. Or if you're a beginner and you want to learn how to ad lib, then this section is definitely for you. So one of the easiest ways that you can practice ad libs is just by singing along with your favorite songs. you'll get the hang of it for sure. Now, there's kind of a crutch when you do that. You have kind of a crutch when you sing along to your favorite songs because you are basically copying what the singer is doing. One of the things you can do to get out of that is to practice singing that same song, but just with the instrumental and background vocals. You can find instrumentals pretty much everywhere. Nowadays online, there's so many different like cover song instrumental websites you can use, even referring to, some streaming platforms as well. But the biggest thing is to start to practice with those instrumentals, your favorite songs, and be creative. Come up with your own ad libs and your own different melodies and syncopated rhythms. It's just like if you're talking, having a conversation with someone, you wouldn't repeat word for word what they say. You would want to have a conversation. So go back and forth and come up with your own creative ideas. It's the same thing with the song. You don't have to repeat the same ad libs that singers repeat. I mean, the singers sing, you want to be creative. And that's also how you start to develop your own unique style as well. So the next thing I want to talk about are runs, or people might call them riffs. So riffing and running is basically a style choice. Some people use runs, they overuse runs. And to each his own. I'm not saying it's good or bad. All I'm saying is that I believe runs should be used tastefully. I call them runs. You can call them riffs if you like. But it's something that a run is something that it's a cool little add-on that you can use. You can choose to include it in your vocal performance. I'm not a huge runner, although I can throw it in there if I want to. I don't think it's necessary for every line in a song, but it does add a little oomph, a little some extra, So some singers use lots of them, some don't, and it's perfectly fine. It's really the singer's choice. So to get started with runs, you can either start up or down. But when you're singing a run, you need at least 3 notes, right? Because you can't just be like, ah, that's not really a run. You can go, ah, that would be more of a run than just 2 notes. So you definitely need 3 notes, at least 3, for a run. You want to keep your runs as simple as possible. And there is actually a pattern to singing runs. So the pattern is like a number system. So if you are familiar with solfege is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So that's solfege. And you can use solfege, but make the solfege numbers. Okay, so do would be 1, re would be 2, mi would be 3, and so on and so forth up until you get to that last do, which would be 8. So you can count through your solfege 1 through 8. So let's start with the first example. So you take the number 1, which is do. Now, like I said before, to make a run, you need at least 3 notes, right? So one of the easiest runs you can do is do, re, do, or 1, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll give you an example and I'll sing Happy Birthday. So what you want to do is listen closely where I put this run. It's 1, 2, 1, or do, re, do. So let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Doo-doo-doo. It wasn't perfect, but you get the point, right? So when you're singing a run, you want to make sure that if you're doing just a simple run, it's nice and clean. Okay, not you, do, re, do. So that's one of the simplest types of runs, the 3-note run, 1, 2, 1, or do, re, do. So let's sing it together, okay? Whatever key that you prefer is fine. All right, let's sing it together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the next type of run, which is a 5-note run. So this is going on the number system again. So we're going to go do, re, mi, re, do. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, we're going 3 notes, 5 notes. The next will be 7 notes. Yes. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so do, re, mi, re, do. Let's try the song again. So we'll go, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Do, re, mi, re, do. So that would be 5 notes. Do, re, mi, re, do. See how that works? Exactly. So one of the things that you need to remember is that you can change up the length of the notes in the run. You can make them shorter, you can make them longer. You can combine both 3-note run and 5-note run. Okay, so I'm going to slow down a few notes in this 5-note run and let you hear what it sounds like. It would be, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. So I held that do, re, mi, re, do. So you can hold notes a little bit longer. You can add a little add-on note. Do, 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 do. You can do things like that. However, if you wanted to add a 5-note run and a 3-note run, it'll be do, re, mi, re, do. Do, re, do. You could go, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You. So it's really fun the more that you get into it, because honestly, you can come up with any combination of notes, melodies, different patterns for your ad lib. And that is how you start to just be more creative and start to actually develop your style. You can speed it up. You can slow it down. Now we're going to go to a 7-note run. Okay, so this might be a little more advanced, and I'm going to give it my best shot. Okay, so with the 7-note run, you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 7 notes. So it'd be do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, so it would sound like this. Y'all tired of me singing yet? It would sound like, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I think I did that right. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do. I didn't do that right. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. There we go. I hope everybody got that right. So now you can add more. You can do 9 notes, 12 notes. There's some singers out there who may be up to 15, 20 notes. As you practice more and more with riffing and running, adding these numbers together to create your own melody. Remember, you can speed it up, you can slow it down, you can go up or down with the notes. You don't always have to go up. You can go down as well to start. I just went up because that's what I chose. You can go, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. So there's so many different ways that you can create your runs. Be creative. The point with runs and riffing is that you're as creative as you want to be. There's really no rules for running. It's, making sure that, in my opinion, everything is tasteful. The more numbers you can combine, the more options you have. And the more that you practice it, the easier and the less thought you put into it. Because you can practice these numbers and everything, but after a while, it'll start to become like second nature to you. And you can just start using your muscle memory. Da, 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 da. And another thing that you'll want to keep in mind is that this is actually what a vocal coach taught me way back in the day, is that you can use vocal exercises in warm-ups to enhance your running capabilities. When you have a lot of these vocal exercises, you're doing, did you ever think about how you can make that a run? So just think about that. Everything is actually working for your good and working together. You just have to make sure that you practice and apply the different techniques. So good places to put runs in a song are usually in the intro of the song. Not usually after the first verse in that hook, but usually after your second verse in that hook. So the second verse hook, and then the hook after your bridge. And then also at the end, you can just take it away with as many runs as you want to. If the song has a powerful ending, usually you want to put some runs there and use different lyrics, different phrases, or you can sing along with or you can use the words that are already in the hook. So now you know about breathing, posture, your vocal range, and runs. There are some of the most important fundamental tools and techniques that you can use to embrace your singing voice and become the best singer you can be. Thank you, everyone that tuned into my workshop this evening, and be on the lookout for more upcoming workshops presented by the Collective School of Music. You can find the Collective on Instagram and Twitter to stay up to date about new workshops and other news. And don't forget to check the Sound Collective, a new online learning platform that is home to a growing library of over 450 video lessons. You can learn everything, seriously, you can learn everything. Learn all about skills in music production, audio mixing, music theory, sound design, and so much more. Visit soundcollective.com to learn more. And have a great night, everybody.
Don't even know your place. And I swear, I'm tired of holding this weight on my shoulders every day. But I never complain, oh no, baby, you messed up. Now I'm blue and stuck. Now you what you need, 'cause I see. Can't keep dodging the issue. When you say you need me, Let's make it simple, baby. 'Cause talk is cheap. This is not how it was supposed to be. I love you. Place no one above you. Why you treat me so cold? Why you treat me so cold? I'll let it burn. One day you'll learn. Why'd you treat me so cold? Why did you? We can crisscross and shadow box, play house like beginners, baby. The classic case. You like the chase, then pour out your heart when we're face to face. Then you melt my heart and change my mind. Your eyes so innocent, your mind so lost. But talk is cheap. This is not how it was supposed to be.